last hand a little bit.
That was a huge hand.
Asking what would have happened if Tom Dwan would have shipped it there, and he was considering it. I was right. I thought he might make a big bet or no bet.
Well, Dwan picks up the aces.
Well, that'll help console him a little bit from that last pot.
7-2. Pass.
And he makes it 7,200. Now we had the original raise under the gun from Alan Cunningham. He made it 2,000.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This is an unbelievable spot for Tom Dwan. Now, any other player, Patrick Antonius maybe gets away from the kings, but Tom Dwan with the aces?
That's why Tom Dwan gets so much action. He plays so many hands. He mixes it up when this happens. He gets paid off.
Oh, this is unreal. Just to recap here, Alan Cunningham under the gun raised it up
19.
with pocket threes. Tom Dwan has re-raised it with the aces to 7,200, and Patrick Antonius with pocket kings has made it 19,000.
You know, if Tom Dwan plays this tricky, this could get real expensive for Patrick Antonius.
Pass.
And both players are very deep. Antonius has $371,000 in front of him. Tom Dwan, $250,000 in front of him.
Well, that's why we could see a wide variety of ways to play this. We could see a re-raise right here by Tom Dwan just to get the pot pumped up. We could see a flat call. I think that as deep as the stacks are, I prefer a re-raise. Go ahead and put a little more money in the pot. The thing is this, the way that Tom Dwan's table image is, I think it looks great to go ahead and re-raise right here. I think he gets paid off by even queens, maybe jacks, ace-king.
I mean, obviously he's got Patrick Antonius dominated, but he's only a 4-1 favorite. He's going to lose 1 out of 5 times against those kings.
That's why I like a re-raise right here. Take the lead on this pot. Make it 19, make it 50-something. You know, 55, 60. Make it really tough on Patrick Antonius and help define the hand as well.
47,600.
I like it.
And he makes it 47,600. You said 50-something, pretty close.
Yeah. Back in good old 93, you know when raise, re-raise, re-raise. They had kings to raise.
Not anymore.
That was back in the good old days.
What's that?
Remember
when you knew what they had was this action.
It was kings raises.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is in these days, except when you're playing with these guys. Everybody had to put out tapes on how to play. It's your fault. You ruined everything. It's like nobody knew how to play. That was like the last year.
Patrick trying to work this one out.
In the world became superstars, especially 07, 08.
Patrick Antonius started the pot with 371,000. Tom Dwan, 250,000. And look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Patrick Antonius is all in. Tom Dwan calls immediately.
They did have the aces and kings.
What'd you say? They don't have aces and kings when to raise, re-raise, re-raise?
I guess they do sometimes.
And we have a monster $500,000 chip pot. Unbelievable turn of events here. Aces versus kings.
Oh, we've got
it's Tom Dwan's dream here and Patrick Antonius' nightmare.
We've got a house in the middle of this pot. This isn't a poker hand. This is a house. I mean, look at the size of this pot.
Good luck, boys.
Patrick Antonius really thought long and hard about flat calling. Now I wish he did.
Well, here's the flop. It needs a king.
Oh my gosh!
I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
At least the pizza's here.
Oh my, Tom Dwan gets all his chips in. This is a $500,000 pot.
Anyone have an ace?
Unbelievable, what a turn of events.
Dwan needs an ace and only an ace.
Well, there's just $500,000 in the pot, that's all.
And here's the turn. It's the Queen of Hearts.
Oh,
Tom Dwan
cards.
down to 1 card and only 2 outs, or he is going to lose a $500,000 pot.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
He's got to be about to puke right now.
I'll take 100 more.
I'm about to puke. It's the 4 of spades. Oh,
Wow. Wow. Just like that.
I mean, what is he feeling right now? You've played poker your whole life. What's he feeling right now? $500,000 in the pot. He got his money in good, and he loses. Patrick Antonius just won himself $250,000.
Yeah, he's got to be physically feeling like he's going to be sick. I mean, those situations happen. He got his money in with the best of it. Sometimes, like I always say, some days chicken, some days feathers. Right now, Tom Dwan is choking on those feathers.
I know. I swear this sounds crazy, but when that hand got turned up, I said, "Good luck, boys." I swear I felt the king coming.
We'll have a quick word with Tom Dwan. There's not really much one can say other than when your aces get cracked, it's a case of ouch, isn't it? I mean, how philosophical are you about a hand like that?
I wish I had won. If that counts as philosophical, that's about as far as I go on the philosophical part.
Get a feeling that something like that's going to happen or not?
Well, I mean, the cards flipped over, and I know I'm going to lose sometimes and win most of the time, and that time I lost. Whatever happens, it's part of poker. You always need to be ready for it to happen. You gotta just move on and keep playing.
And of course,
Raise.
action on Tom Dwan. He's going to raise it up.
3,200 total bet. To call. Fold.
David Benyon trying to see a flop cheat.
Called.
That ain't going to happen while it's Tom Dwan's button. Raising up with ace deuce, and Phil Ivey calling in the big blind.
3,200 called.
3,200 the bet, and 3,200 called in 2 spots.
See, there's 3 ways.
It's just like playing online for these 3. They play an awful lot.
Check. Check.
Everybody with a whole bunch of nothing. Benjamin with the gut shot straight draw. Dwan.
And if he catches it, it'd probably be very good because he could catch Tom Dwan at the same time. He'd make a smaller straight.
Bet.
Mike, I know my initials are ATM.
8,600. Fold.
And a big bet.
ATM.
Phil Ivey's gone.
8,600 total bet.
OV. OR.
Call.
Sicko.
Pot is nearly $28,000.
Sickest. Sicko. Sorry.
And a 5 certainly would be the magic card.
17. Yeah. 17 change.
Here comes the turn.
Oh! And there it is, the 5 of hearts. It's an unbelievable card there. Tom Dwan makes the wheel, ace to 5 straight. But David Benjamin with the absolute nuts right now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 high straight. And you can see he cannot lose this pot. And it's just a matter of how can he maximize the value of this hand.
The speed that Tom Dwan's been playing, I can't see this pot going anything other than all in. Whether it happens now or on the river.
Well, Tom Dwan, an absolutely fantastic internet player, knows how to get away from second best hands. Can he do it here?
I very much doubt it.
Ever the skeptic.
21-3.
Betting 21,300.
And he bets 21,300. The pot is now $49,200. Action back to Benjamin.
I think the faster that David Benjamin plays this pot, the more money he's going to get.
Benjamin has over $400,000 behind. Dwan with nearly $200,000 behind. And this has the makings of an absolute monster. $50,000 pot, $23,000 to call. But between you and I don't think Benjamin's just going to call this one. Can Durrr get away from this hand?
I really don't think so.
$21,300.
Very hard to put your opponent on 6-7.
63 total bet.
And he makes it 63,000 total.
bet.
40,000 more. And this pot had up to $112,000. Action back to Durrr. It's almost impossible to put Benjamin on the 6-7, the gut shot. Remember, there was a bet on the flop and Benjamin called. Absolute stone face from Benjamin. Action on. Tom Dwan.
The black one's in his hand worth $25,000 each.
Absolutely insane amount of money here at this table.
Right. When you're like me and you're steaming and upset.
And what is the internet phenom going to do here? It's $40,000 back to him. As you've already said, it's almost impossible to see him getting away from this one. Remember, Benjamin has shown bluffs all day long. No reason to think he's not bluffing right here. And he's all in!
Cool.
Tom Dwan is all in. David Benjamin quickly is going to call this, and Tom Dwan is drawing dead.
You have 6-7. Nice hand.
There really is not a lot that poor Tom Dwan could have done there, and he looks absolutely sick.
Completely inconsequential river. Dwan was drawing dead. And look at those chips getting shifted over to the Frenchman.
What if I... Can you get 150? 150? 150, yeah.
Like 150 right there. Wow.
Nice hand.
Ellie, if I move on, you call?
Chris Ferguson, our big winner so far, up over, well, nearly $200,000, I want to say.
600 to call.
Yeah, he's up $200,000, and I don't think he's said a word to anyone since he sat down.
Fold.
If you put another 90, I can call. Cannot.
Of course, it's hard to get a word in edgeways with Mike the Mouth Madasau, Phil the Brat Helmuth,
Move all in. I mean, how can I call? If Phil move all in, I call.
and some of the other characters around this table.
Fold, fold.
You went under, buddy. After you won.
Well,
you
David
beat me
Benjamin
out
with a genuine hand here.
150,000.
Well, David Benjamin knows how to play the trash.
You
Can
just
he play a
decided
real
to
hand?
be a winner now.
Well, I don't think he's going to throw it away.
Oh, Jack on the river.
What's the kind of insight we get from Gary Jones here?
Looks like a raise.
Raise. 3,900 is a total bet.
And the interesting thing about this raise is he picks up queens on the button. He raises on the button. Might his opponents not respect that?
That is quite possible. And Phil's got a genuine hand.
It's like a whole new person. It's amazing, like
If he doesn't respect it,
Wow.
how they act,
4 in a row.
they're winning, how they
Cool.
chirp.
4 in a row. A little tilted, right?
Yep, 3,900. Cool.
You gotta be happy every day like me. That's why when you know you got
When Helmuth calls, Ivy calls, action over to Antonius.
It's on you.
And I think Antonius is priced into this one.
Winner or losing, then you're not playing.
yeah, any kind of a
Nine.
hand, and he's going to play this.
Cool.
I learned that. I used to put myself through hell.
And Antonius has got the spades. And we'll say this 4 ways. Pot just about $17,000. Actually is $17,000. Oh, and look at that. How about a set of 8s
Check.
for Phil Hellmuth?
Check.
He's probably a little bit unlucky
Check.
that there's a king on the board.
Yeah, had that flop come out 10-8 deuce, probably would have got a lot more action.
It's been checked round.
When you raise
the raiser.
queens and you get 3 callers and you see a king out there, you can't be too happy, can you?
Well, you can have a bet
11,000.
and see what actually happens.
11,000 is the bet to call.
I'm going to raise it up. 40,000 to go.
40,000 total bet.
A re-raise from Phil Hellmuth. He's just showed a bluff. He's hoping that his opponents are going to put him on, trying to steamroll the table.
It was $11,000 bet from Benjamin.
Fold.
A raise up to 40,000 for
Total raise
Hellmuth.
40,000.
So it's 29.
Big later.
Back to Benjamin.
David Benjamin's passed as well.
Fold.
Yeah, he's already folded.
You folded? Winning on another one, buddy.
And Hellmuth continues to steamroll this table.
Ivy, I second. Ivy, I second staying through.
I third it.
And Hellmuth was down over $100,000 just a little while ago. But some creative play, and he is now only down 25,000.
Are you telling me they said it an hour ago?
You stuck, Phil?
600 to call.
I would have slow played the hand when it came king 10.
Action on Patrick Antonius. He's not going to play.
Everybody was showing dead.
Elliot
Raise,
Lesra.
2,600
He likes his
total
suited
bet.
ace.
He could hit a jack, he could hit
Fold.
a king.
I had 2 queens. That was not doing that.
Fold.
You had 2 outs.
26, Tom.
I would have smoked
2,600 total bet. 600 more to you. Thank you.
An awfully big raise from Ellie.
Yeah, it's over 4 times.
I was going to say $2,600 bet into a 600 big blind.
But you know what? He said
Contrast that to David Benjamin's raising. He often raises at about 1,600.
Exactly. I know David seems to raise it more my style, as Ellie seems to want to power them through a little bit more.
Both players have a piece of this one. Ellie with second pair, top kicker. Tom Dwan with top pair, king kicker.
He must have been playing bad lately. He changed his mind.
5,200 total bet to call.
Now, remember earlier, Tom actually bluffed Ellie. Can that work in his favor here?
Cool.
Well, there's been plenty of previous between these two. And there's going to be a little bit more. This pot starts to get big. 5 on the turn for Ellie Lesra.
Well, he checks it. Action over to Tom Dwan. And Ellie looking for the check raise here, possibly.
Buddy, I'm going to take you out of my words if you can't take the sweetness. I can take the sweetness for me. Just not watching you play, I can't.
And it goes check, check. A little pot controlling check there on the turn from Tom Dwan. And does he know something?
Well, I think he's hoping to catch a weaker hand on the river. That's a bit of an oversized bet there from Ellie, 25,000.
And I think Dwan was going to call. I think he was on automatic call if it was a normal size bet. But the over bet has kind of forced him to raise his eyebrows a bit.
I still think we'll see a call.
Just to play devil's advocate, I think he's going to lay this one down. I think the internet phenom is going to lay this one down. He's going to sniff it out as the overbet doesn't make any sense. And he's looking to the skies for help. I always look up there. There's nothing, nobody ever answers.
Well, there you go. You got Opie on your side. This guy
5-5-3 on the board was very good to him not long ago.
Of course. I mean, I'm almost positive Dwan calls it if it's a $13,000 or $14,000 bet. The $25,000 bet into a $17,000 pot just makes him scratch his head a little bit.
I think you're right. The longer this goes on, I actually think he might fold this now.
Come over my side of thinking here. And although Durrr is only 22 years old, he's accomplished an awful lot, and he's got thousands upon thousands of hands of experiences.
Is there a Chinese game or are we playing online?
That black chip he's playing with in his hand, as is Ali. They're all worth $25,000. And that's what the bet is right now. He throws it in. It's a good lay down there from Tom Dwan. And you read it right, David.
It's a great lay down. And I think Ellie cost himself about 13 or 14,000 with the overbet.
You're very right.
Cool. Fold. 24. Cool.
And there's a live straddle here.
Fold.
A raise under the gun from Benjamin and a call. Oh, actually, is that a double straddle?
I think that's actually a double straddle from David Benjamin. So instead of it being 300 and 600, which is what the official blinds are, you've got an over straddle, making it 1,200, and then a double over straddle, making it 2,400.
Well, throw the blinds out the window, throw the cards out the window. This is just absolute insanity.
Well, Patrick Antonis is making it a little bit more sane. Bring them all back to reality with a big raise. Ace-4 no good from Madisau. Well, David Benjamin's woken up with a hand in the overstraddle.
It's 9,009 more.
And Patrick has made approximately $10,000 more. And that's what Benjamin's got to think about now. Is his ace-jack worth that much money? He will have position on Patrick.
It does look like a good spot for a dead money pickup from Patrick Antonius. Just two limpers. So he could be putting the pressure on, and as it happens, he's got half of a hand, and it's the kind of hand that David Benjamin's got in bad shape.
13 ounce, I mean, giving it you
Pot is 22,000. It's 9,900 to call.
No way, I can't.
And it's a call from David. He's got the best position, he's got the best hand.
And is that going to bring Dwan in?
Well, it really wouldn't surprise me.
No, I know. I mean, I thought the deuces were good as well.
Well, now Dwan is down $300,000. He's looking for spots to win a big pot. Maybe he thinks this is his hand.
And if he comes, you might even see Ivy join the party.
Yeah.
I would bet my firstborn that Ivy's going to call this one. At least.
9,009 more.
9,009 more?
What? Do I really have what?
And good for me, my firstborn is safe.
No, I had an ace in
12-3
my hand.
total.
And ace something. No big deal.
Cool.
No, I'm bluffing.
Well, he calls. You have four ways here. The pot is already $51,000, and we haven't seen a flop yet.
And the best hand out there is ace-jack.
Or I might have had ace king of hearts.
Unbelievable. Here comes a flop.
And I might have called him lost
King
Well,
8-4.
King 8-4.
I knew you were strong when you called 4,000.
Dwan is ahead here with a pair of eights. He's got second pair.
But I don't know. I thought
It's a whole bunch of nothing for everybody.
you were going to call
And $51,000 before the flop. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's more than a lot of people make in an entire year.
Exactly. The question right now is what Patrick's going to do.
I thought you wanted to steam off some more.
He's made it over 12,000 to play before the flop. He's got 3 callers and he's missed. Does he have a stab?
I mean, I think it was interesting that he tried the dead money pickup now. But now that 3 players call, it's really tough. But you know what? He's got a lot of heart. He's going to try it.
34,000. Fold.
The man with the best hand facing a bet of 34,000.
The pot is 85,000. I mean, can Dwan call this with just second pair? He has to think that he's probably behind. But does he want to take one off? See what happens.
Well, when you call with that kind of hand, there's no draws on this flop. I think he's probably going to have to call. If you're calling to flop 2 pair, you really are dreaming.
I mean, is there a chance that he can put Antonius on an underpair, maybe jacks or tens, maybe think he could take it away from him on a later street?
Well, maybe think he can take away from it on this street. He might want to try and find out where he is, make it 75, 80,000. But no, he's just going to call.
Cool. And this pot is really developing into a monster. The pot is nearly $120,000. Ivy's got nothing. He's going to get rid of it.
That's pretty good news for both of the players. Nines and aces would put Patrick Antonius in front.
Turn card 5.
Turns a 5 of hearts. That changes nothing. And if you're Antonius, what do? Both these players, these are our two biggest losers today. Both down more than $250,000.
Well, Patrick's got more of a reputation of being tight at the table. If he can actually bring himself to put an $80,000 or $90,000 pot bet into this pot, he could well pick it up.
Now these players really know each other well. They've played countless hours together on the internet, and of course they were involved in an earlier hand where Dwan made a full house and Patrick made a big call with just one pair.
Check.
Patrick Antonius focusing on the pot, on Dwan, and on his chips. And of course Dwan.
Check.
Oh,
it goes check.
Last card.
Not sure where he is. Is he going to regret it?
Deuce.
Nope, the deuce a good card for Tom.
And I don't think Patrick can fire at this one now, can he?
No, because he knows that even if Tom's got an 8, he's probably going to call.
I mean, after checking the turn, he's pretty much given up, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's what's happened.
And that's what he's trying to figure out right now, obviously. Can he take a stab at this one more time?
I think everybody here is a multi-billionaire.
But Patrick, one of the best in the business. He's not the type to throw money after bad money, is he?
Well, he's reaching for his chips.
Listen, when you have a positive attitude, eventually.
I think he's probably going to have to bet 80 or 90,000 to get rid of Tom.
Well, that's what he's done.
You bounce off the carpet like I have.
Looks like $82,000 bluff from Patrick Antonius. This is a big decision for Tom Dwan.
I know many that never recover.
And of course, Patrick Antonius checked the turn.
Nobody's more positive.
Silly me, I would have thought that would have been the end of the pot.
I still expect to win.
But obviously, Patrick, he could take this line. The pot is $200,000.
I need some hands to hold up.
$82,000 to call.
That's why when anything ever would start bad for me, we're always with positive. We always had positive. We were always positive.
Good luck in trying to get a read on that man.
Does Patrick's line make sense, the way he played this hand?
Well, it's looking like tens, jacks, but would he make such a big bet on the river with tens or jacks? He could have been laying a trap with a decent king on the turn, especially on a board of king 8-4 where there's no real draws. You might feel like you can afford to give a free card a chance at getting a payoff on the river. And this is all what's going through Tom's head right now.
I mean, if there was a player at this table you were going to trap, it would be Dwan, wouldn't it?
Precisely.
It's easy when they check raise me. Be a lot more easier. 37 more. Yeah.
And it's an absolutely ridiculous bluff here. Now, we've seen Dwan make some big laydowns, but we haven't seen him make a big call. Can he do it? What do you think?
Okay.
I think it's going through his head. He's counting his chips. He knows how much he's stuck in this game. He might think he doesn't want to go any further in the red. But this is also a chance for him to get a little bit out of it, you know. There's $200,000 in this pot. It would go a long way to helping him.
What? No, I was looking at my chips. I'm just trying to figure out why I wouldn't get the turn if he had a good hand.
Dude, you're allowed to take your time.
And that must be difficult. You've got an $82,000 decision on your hands, and Phil Helmut's in your ear. And Dwan trying to figure out why Patrick didn't bet the turn. Was Patrick trying to lay a trap, or was this a bluff? Well, he's counting out the 82,000. The pot is $200,000. This would be an absolute monster swing.
Last time we had a bet, we had a bet on how big the pot was. I wanted 2,000.
It's a fine line in poker. You can make as much money making good laydowns as you can making good calls. Sometimes you can fall one side or the other and start making mistakes. That's what he's worried about.
He's going to call.
He makes a call. It's a great call from Tom Dwan.
It's high.
It's a great call. He's going to win this with one pair of eights. I can't believe it. A $280,000 pot with a pair of eights. What a call by Tom Dwan.
Fantastic. That's going to make him feel a lot better. And I fear for the rest of the table now. He's getting a little bit of confidence.
He's still down 150,000, but he was down over 300,000. What a swing. You got to give credit to Patrick Antonius. What heart of a champion to even try that. But he is really in deep here. He is down nearly $400,000.
I just thought it was.
Well, this is a player that won $200,000 in about 12 minutes at one point, playing on the internet.
What? I did not say I have eight.
I mean, he never showed it.
Fold.
Could have better.
Call.
Could have had Jack.
And it's amazing when you look at him and you think he's only 22. And he's playing a 5-3 suited here.
Against Patrick Antonius.
Well, he's playing his button. He loves that button.
In fact, both players love their button.
Two of you, yeah.
Well, most good players do, don't they?
It really is a power position.
Well, it's an interesting flop. Both players get a little piece of it. Antonius, a much better piece, though.
Yeah, he's definitely in front right now. A little under a 3-1 favourite.
If you're Dwan, do you take one off here?
4,500
Seeing if you can catch two pair or some sort of draw.
Well, he also doesn't know, of course, that Patrick's actually caught any of this.
So what's the play if you're Tom Dwan?
The sort of player that Tom Dwan is, he's also the sort of player that's going to put pressure on with the re-raise, kind of to find out where he is. Very, very fast player, but he's decided to play his position. He's called. Here we go. We're going to see a turn card.
Oh, that's a magical card there, the 5 there. Obviously looking for a 5 or a 3 or some sort of draw. That's going to give him trips. And can Patrick Antonius put him on a 5?
Well, he knows that Tom can pretty well play any two cards.
Especially
Just
on
have to see how this one plays out.
There's no way you're hanging it.
He's such a dangerous player.
Well, we see that earlier. We saw him move all in with just a 7 high. Anybody that's capable of doing that is very dangerous.
Betting 10,000. 10,000 to call.
And Patrick Antonius is going to bet 2/3 of the pot, 10,000 into a $15,000 pot. Action over to Dwan. And there's not much that Patrick Antonius can beat if Dwan actually had a real hand here.
I think you had points, but you might have also flopped.
Call.
Well, Tom's slow playing this one. Doesn't want to lose his customer.
15 change.
Also a slight chance he's a bit gun shy. He caught what he thought was a monster earlier on against David Benjamin. Wow, now he's got 5s full of 3s.
But once again, what can Patrick Antonius beat here with the king with a pair of kings with only a jack kicker?
8 on the river. You bet 90-something on the river and he moved you.
I think we might still try and see a value bet from Patrick.
I promise to you, I'll be honest. I might try.
Although with Tom behind him, he might do a kind of a check call, hoping to catch a bluff.
I told you.
Figuring if Dwan missed diamonds,
he might have a stab because he's got, you know, an awful lot of history to trying to take these pots away. But I've seen Patrick make an awful lot of value bets on the river with very marginal hands.
well, this would be a very thin value bet. And of course, when Dwan raised, might Antonius think that he's raising with missed diamonds?
You're running good feel. I hit the 8. I was going to check raise him on the river.
You did check raise him on the river.
But I hit the 8, but I was
Of course, Gus Hansen, the Great Dane, watching the game intently. We saw him earlier. He finished up about $34,000.
Like a
But Patrick Antonius is a big decision right now.
Came 3-4 jack.
Looks like he's put in a little value bet.
He has.
Yeah.
Buddy, we don't play in the same level.
David was losing before.
27,000.
Well, that's a big bet there. 27,000 into a $35,000 pot.
I think we're going to see a raise from Dwan. He can't be scared of 5 king or kings full.
You know, the way Dwan's day is going, I figure he figures, you know what, if I run into pocket kings here, so be it. He's definitely going to raise this one.
That's what he said.
That's all I'm doing. Just another day grinding.
Dwan started this hand with just under $140,000.
You won 34 nines.
Deuces.
His pot is going to be at least 90,000. And he's all in. And we saw him move all in earlier with just a 7 high.
Bet is all in.
He did have a bit of a draw, though, when he did the 7 high,
Good
just
point.
in case.
Well, the pot now is $184,000 back to Patrick Antonius. And could Dwan be doing this with a misdraw?
Well, that's what's going to be going through Patrick's head.
You think about that flop. What draw could he have missed?
Huh? Yeah, because ours would have been bluffed.
Obviously 2 diamonds on that flop.
I mean, it's hard to call.
How much more?
It's like, unless you have a deuce and you really have like an ace deuce. And even, I mean, well, probably one of my favorites to have.
And of course, Durrr, such an aggressive player, helps him get paid off sometimes.
Even if you have an ace deuce, I mean, how often are you going to have the best hand?
But will Patrick pay him off here?
No?
That's 90.
I mean, once in a while. I mean,
95 cents.
Phil Hellmuth,
95
world
cents.
champion, looking on. Always studying his opponents.
$90, yeah.
And it's about 90,000, 95,000 back to Antonius.
95.6.
And what is Patrick thinking here, Gary?
Well, he's just trying to decide whether he thinks that Tom could be making a bluff here. There isn't really, like you say, any genuine hands he can beat.
Oh, that's a sick beat there. You had kings there. I thought he had
I
queens.
mean, a raise like that on the river, it's pretty much an absolute monster or nothing at all, right?
Exactly.
You raised pre-flop, I didn't I'll be re-raise hamming him. up tonight. You raised pre-flop, I didn't re-raise him. None of this went wrong.
Oh, you could have 6 or 4.
And these guys have logged hours and hours against each other online.
I could have queen 6.
What a treat we have, watching them live on television.
You want to have a couple kings. How could you not pass there?
I could have queen 6. Right?
So I'm just trying to say, with the board queen 6.
Of course, Patrick made a big payoff to Phil Ivey in season 2.
Yes, we all remember that. Pot that exceeded $800,000, and at the time was the biggest ever televised hand. Can you get a read off that face?
14.
I can't.
44.
But I'm used to seeing his avatar rather than his face.
So what does he do?
And we've seen some thin calls today. This wouldn't be as thin. Patrick hasn't played too many hands trying to work this one out.
Do you agree with what I'm saying? What do you do in his spot when you have 2 sevens? You got to take the lead of the pot. You cannot do the bluff, right? In the hand.
Eyes wide open. Tom Dwan begging for a call at this point.
He doesn't have to do that. You can call, and he can mean raise the turn.
David, can you order watermelon? We have 2 more hours.
They're going to come with some fruit from you.
Don't forget, not only is Tom Dwan stuck over $300,000, Patrick Antonius is stuck about $100,000 as well.
An absolutely enormous pot, $184,000 pot, $95,000 to call.
No, we can do it. It's all about balance.
You know, that's what it's all about having the back. There's only station for the first month. I'm going to have
Gamma, 45 hours.
a lot of swimming. You know,
Patrick Antonius has won millions in cash games, millions in tournaments. And he's made a living making tough decisions like this.
You don't want to say right raise call easily.
Talking about a lot of money here. And if you're ever wondering if this money meant anything to these players, you can look at Patrick's face.
You can almost feel the pain on his face. He's really not comfortable.
He's got two pair, kings and fives with a jack kicker. But as you've said already, he can only beat a bluff here.
All credit to Tom Dwan. He's played this beautiful. The flat call on the turn, the all-in on the river. Such a big overbat.
He's really playing it as if he missed
I call.
some sort of draw.
Full house.
He says call. And Patrick not happy. Fives full of threes, going to be the winner. And that pot, nearly $300,000. $500,000 in front of David Benjamin.
Yeah, he's approaching 700,000 now. But he is not our big winner. Our big winner is Chris Jesus Ferguson.
It's 25,000 change.
And one thing about losing money to Chris Jesus Ferguson, you know he's not going to give it back.
Yeah, you're going to have to get that out of him with a crowbar.
Well, Benjamin, again with another big hand here. He's got big slick. Although he seems to do most of his damage
Okay, fold, fold.
with kind of the odd out-of-the-box hands, doesn't he?
Yeah, the kind of marginals.
And fold. Total bet, 2,200.
Phil Ivey on the button.
Fold.
Passes. As does Chris Ferguson out of the small blind. Just Patrick Antonius left.
Call.
And Patrick is going to call this. And twice we've seen Benjamin
2,200 called.
have his opponents hit the worst card for them and the best card for him.
Exactly.
Really the story of the night.
Wow, what a nice flop there for Patrick Antonius. Well, almost a nice flop. Gives him a draw. He's now 50-50 shot over the ace-king. Actually thought he flopped a straight there. Thought he had 9-6.
Cool.
Still, obviously, Benjamin has missed, though. Some aggressive play from Antonius should take this one down.
Well, it's gone bet from David, call from Patrick, and that king on the turn means the betting's going to continue.
Yeah, Benjamin's not going to go anywhere now. See that he's a 4-1 favorite. Antonius is going to need a jack or a 6.
9,000 bet.
Oh, he's going to have to somehow figure out a way to get David Benjamin to fold his ace-king.
Fold.
Well, he's laid it down. Didn't like his pot odds. Good pass there from Patrick.
He also realized that if he hit his straight, it would have been a one-liner. Might not have gotten paid off.
Exactly. Would have looked very, very, very obvious.
Take a look at Benjamin's chips there. Wow. Those reds. And he is up to nearly 700,000.
should also be lenient with it.
600 to call. Call.
We're at the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. Patrick Antonius has bought in for another $200,000.
1 minute per day. You know what? That's a good idea.
Raise it up.
And there it is, those black chips, $25,000 each. You'd think for $200,000 you'd get more than 8 chips.
6,600.
Yeah, it seems like you've been cheated a little bit. Flat call from David Benjamin. Also a call from Dwan. Better raise it up from the steamer, Phil Hellmuth.
Well, you know Tom Dwan is going to play that hand, 5-3 of spades. Probably his favorite hand right now.
And the raise up from Phil Hellmuth, Jack-5 offsuit.
Well, Hellmuth has a little bit of a reputation for steaming in cash games.
Certainly looks like it from the evidence right now, but this is quite a big bet.
I like that 5-minute clock. Where it's like a
6,000 raise. I don't know whether Tom's going to call it, even with his hand at the moment.
That'd be pretty cool. And everybody, when they buy in the tournament, they get their little 50-cent 5-minute time bank. And as soon as that 1 minute's up,
got about $2.5 million on the table now.
And it counts down.
Of course, Hellmuth reloaded with 100,000. Antonius reloaded with 200,000.
Well, Durrr calling with his 5-3. Actually dominated by the Jack-5. I bet you wouldn't have thought that.
Tables where you only get an hour and 15-minute levels, they're taking 10 minutes a hand. I mean, they're destroying the...
Well, he's got in front with the 3.
And he's outflopped him.
I've had a 5-minute decision maybe twice in my whole life. John Pham has one 20 times.
And actually, Hellmuth is in bad shape right now, although he's got position.
11,000.
And he might be able to take this one away. We'll see how Dwan plays it, though. And it's like an entirely different Hellmuth, isn't it?
Yeah, he's totally opened up. Tom calls.
And how many bullets can Hellmuth shoot?
Yeah, that's going to be the question right now. The 3 doesn't look too strong. If he keeps firing, and that ace is going to be a bit of a scare card for Tom. The only thing it does give him is it gives him a straight out.
Of course, Hellmuth has the same straight draw. But for Hellmuth to win this pot, needs a jack. And is Hellmuth going to continue firing at this pot? Something we haven't seen earlier is continued aggression from Phil Hellmuth. And he bets 26,000 into a $37,000 pot. I don't see how Tom Dwan can continue.
Well, he's probably sitting there thinking he's got 9 cards. If he thinks 5s and 3s are good, he thinks his 4's probably good. He's pretty sure his 3's probably good. If he's up against aces and queens, that'd have them.
I remember Tom Dwan is down nearly $200,000 as well. Might he be reaching here? How many bullets can Phil Hellmuth fire?
Well, he needs to fire one more.
I mean, look at that flop, queen 3 deuce. Not many draws out there.
At least not many draws that didn't get hit by the ace. What hand does he think he can get Tom Dwan to lay down?
At this point, I mean, you have to put Tom on at least a queen, and you figure there's no way he's going to lay it down. The pot is nearly $90,000.
Looks like he just does not want to leave those chips behind.
Well, he's put his children in the pot and doesn't want to abandon them. And he's got about, I'm trying to work it out, it looks like he's got about 40,000 there. Is 40,000 enough?
I think he's got a bit more than that. I think he's actually got more like 60 or 70,000. There's 2 black chips.
Oh, indeed, you're right, it is 2 black chips. So he's got about 65,000. Is that enough to get it done?
Well, we know that he's up against a 3. It may well be enough to get it done.
I'm all in.
And look at this. What courage!
He shoves it all across the line.
Oh,
and
come on,
Tom
Phil,
Dwan,
show it. Come on, Phil, show the cards. And he does!
He shows the bluff.
I made a flush. Wow.
He's absolutely desperate to show that one.
famous group Jackson 5.
So while Phil Helmuth continues to count his chip stack, we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you in a couple of minutes' time.
Ellie, if I move on, you call?
Chris Ferguson, our big winner so far.